Today's guest is from Bowie, Texas, and got his bachelor's of business administration and marketing from North Texas University, and then got his master's of secondary education from Charleston State University. He was the head varsity boys basketball coach for 3 years in Jacksboro, coaching me, and is the head varsity girls basketball coach in Slidell, Texas right now. Welcome to the show, Lance Shelton. What's up, Coach?
Oh, hanging in there. So
it's so weird to call you Lance. Can I still call you Coach?
you can. I know. I mean, that's okay. It would seem weird if you call me Lance. So
who does call you Lance?
Honestly, my wife doesn't. She calls me a lot of things, but I can't really repeat them here. I don't think anybody calls me Lance. So, and coach is an awesome word. After you've been doing it this long, after 33 years, you see kids and they still call you coach. I'll take coach anyway. My oldest son just graduated, and he's dating one of my ex-players. They graduated a year ago, and they've been dating for a year. She still calls me coach. So, I'm okay with coach. I like it. So,
do the kids call you coach? They call you dad? Were they?
When I was coaching them, like my kids?
Yeah.
I coached my oldest son up until his freshman year, until I switched over to girls. And I'll be honest, I don't think I ever heard him address me as coach or anything, And the same way my dad coached me. And the whole time I was coached, I don't think I was scared of him anyway. I never asked him a question. And that's just back in the day. You didn't ask your coach questions. So anyway, no, they don't. Now I'm just straight up dad to them now.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How's everything been with COVID? Did that change everything? Did they get the Texas championship games in last year, or how did that go at the end of the last season?
I tell you what, our boys were in the state championship.
Oh, wow.
Okay, they won it the year before, and so we go down there, and the girls got them in the week before. We go down there, and our boys won their semifinal game. The 3A school won their semifinal game. Okay, and then they called the whole thing off. So you had two 1A teams left, two 3A teams left, and everybody else, nobody played at all. And so that's when they called it off. And so they're basically, for us, our guys coach and the coach from Jayden, the two teams left in 1A, have pretty much just agreed upon themselves to call themselves co-champions.
Oh, awesome.
Which I'm good with. Now the other ones, they're just not really declaring a champion. So it's been a mess. It really has. It wasn't a really good solution to the whole thing. So
how's it kind of changed everything in the program right now with the seniors leaving and everyone else there? And how's it changed for you?
Well, it was tough as far as just not being able to do track and hang with the seniors and everything and give them I like talking to them at a goodbye meeting and all that kind of stuff. And even graduation was held outside. It was just a little different as far as how you're leaving the kids, those seniors on terms. I mean, I had one girl that was probably was good in hurdles. She could have gone to state. I don't know. But, I mean, she had a good shot, heck of an athlete, nothing. So I felt bad for him. And at the same time, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
If we're going to – maybe we erred on the side of caution, that's okay. So, I mean, they're still healthy and they're still doing good. So yeah. I'm okay with that.
How many miles did you get on a bike during COVID?
Hey, that's been an advantage right there. Okay. So the last couple of weeks, I guess I've been getting about 300 miles a week, ride usually 5 times a week. I have to take a couple of days off. So that's been a definite advantage for me. Since that's happened, I've been riding like crazy. I have to find something to do.
What do you ride to?
Be honest with you, it's the wind. If the wind's out of the south, I go south. And from here, that's going towards Ponder and past that and looping through. If it's out of the north, I'm heading towards Forestburg. Now, last year, I went to Jacksboro and back.
Really?
And I think it was 105, somewhere around in there.
In one day, 105 miles.
Yeah, and it was an early morning ride, just like this morning because of the heat. And I took off, and by the time, you know where Wizard Wells is?
Yep.
That's when the sun was coming up. I didn't go through Wizard Wells, but I was on those hills right out there, just a few miles, and that's when the sun was coming up, and it was kind of neat just being, out that far. I'm 45 miles into my ride. The sun's just starting to come up, so I just hit a store in Jacksboro and then turned around and came home. So
Dude.
it's good stuff though.
When did you start riding? When did you start really just, getting into the love of riding that far?
1984. You don't know this, but the 80s were cycling, jogging craze. All of a sudden people are like, okay, physical fitness is good for you. So 84, I started riding, and it was really, I met a friend of mine, and he was a rider, and I said, I've always wanted to do this. And we started talking. I said, why don't we go to Europe and let's bicycle through Europe? And so I went and bought a bike. And in 85, we didn't bicycle through Europe, but we bicycled three weeks through Germany. And I've been doing it ever since. And off and on, more serious than others. So
Yeah. Do you have any bigger plans with biking, or you ever thought about doing some charity with the biking or anything like that? To know that you do it already, but
yeah. I don't have any plans. I mean, as far as charity or anything, it's the time and money, I guess, to do it. 6 years ago, I think it was 6, wait a minute, 7 years ago, I rode across the U.S. And it's just a lot of time and money to do that. That was a whole month. That was 35 days. And like I said, and that was with a group. And so the money situation, and for me, it was just a blessing because here I am on a teacher salary, and I'll be able to, to save up money to be able to do something like that. And so, but I would do it again, but right now I don't have any plans to do anything else like that again. Just like I said, time and money.
You have a dream ride. Is there one place that you like, I've always wanted to ride this place, whether it's the view of the ocean or mountains or?
I don't have a dream ride. The dream ride might be to do that cross-country ride again or the southern routes. That was a northern route. And so that was Washington to Virginia, and there's a southern route. Not a one day, but probably the dream ride would be to be able to do that again, because to me it's the right speed. You're not going 70 miles an hour in a car. You're not walking. You're going 15, 16, just cruising. I saw so much stuff. It's awesome. It was just awesome. That would be the dream ride, would be to do that again.
Yep. Sorry about this. My daughter earlier, I needed to put this on.
You're all good. I need to see her.
Come here. You want to say hello?
Hi.
Makes her first appearance in.
How are you doing?
Says, how you doing? You good?
Good.
Okay. How old is she?
She's 5. She's getting ready to go outside and play around and jump on the trampoline. So just trying to
that's awesome.
For her. She makes her first appearance on the podcast today. There you go.
I'm okay with that. So awesome.
Well, I seen a post that you posted earlier today outside of your 348 bike ride. It talked about leaning left and leaning right.
Yeah.
I think there's so much to that. And I don't like to get into it too much, but one of the things is that it's a good perspective after reading it, what you felt. And for the people that didn't get a chance to see it, can you kind of explain the post and explain what you meant by it?
Okay. It is, and we discussed it a little bit before this, but the post was just some days I lean Democrat. Some days I lean Republican. I'm not Democrat or Republican, and today I'm just leaning. And really then I put down some examples of 3 examples of things I've seen on Facebook where it said, and just add whatever political party you want to put in there, was all blank people from this party are racist. All blank people from this party are not Christians. And then I just posted it, I'm leaning today with my head cocked, because what the heck that we group one certain people, and it's always it's their fault or it's their fault and whatever. I just think the divisiveness of today's times, that we try to find blame on one certain group or whatever. We're not finding any middle ground. And I'm not saying it's driving me crazy, but there's a lot of hate. There's a lot of divisiveness. I'm not going to blame one political party, or I'm not going to blame the left or the right for everything.
Yeah.
I think we can find good in both parties.
Yeah.
I think we can find some good in the left and the right. But it seems like if you make a statement about one or the other, then the other side just jumps on you, and there's just no compromise. There's no seeing anybody's point. Now, if it comes to racism or something like that, I have a hard time going to the middle on anything like that.
Yeah.
But just to blame a certain group of people, if you said all Democrats are racist or all Republicans are racist, I can't see it. It's just gotten tough.
It is.
And I don't know. I don't like it.
and I've talked about that pretty openly, about the fact of, like, I'm in the middle too. I would go either way, depending on the candidate or whatever. But it seems like more people post about stuff they hate than about stuff they love or enjoy.
Yeah.
Right.
You're
and
exactly right.
I've deleted people from my Facebook page because it's not because who you support. It's not because what you support. It's really because you feel the need to be divisive. And I've had to take ownership over what I'm reading and what I'm consuming. Being from Texas, small town Texas, I'm pretty sure 95% of the people in my hometown are Republican. And being in Calgary, which is just like Texas, oil and gas, beef, I'm pretty sure 95% of my friends are Republican or conservative, right? So I've been on both sides. Like, most of my friends are on the Republican side. And the biggest thing that I see is successful people worry about what's next and how to move forward, and everyone else just worries about why they're moving forward or what's going on. And they kind of, the government's really made to split you up, right? As long as you're arguing about everything else, then they can do whatever they want to do. And so I just thought that was a very interesting post that you had this morning. I thought it was very, very profound. And I just wanted you to share that with everyone, because, it does make you think, like, it is that way.
It's a tough world. And I've the same way. I have blocked and deleted a dozen people in the last 4 or 5 weeks. My Facebook's a whole lot nicer now, and it's like the good stuff, family stuff, dogs doing stupid stuff. Okay. But this morning or the last 2 or 3 days, I've gotten more, and honestly, I'm going to have to delete or block some other people because it's just negative.
Yeah.
When you see that negative stuff, of course, then, I feel negative. And it's an attitude thing. If you can get that stuff out of the way, your life's just so much better. You saw my wife before this a while ago. She's such a positive person and influence and always happy and everything like that. And so if you surround yourself with people like that and influences, whether it's and on Facebook, your life's it's just better.
Yeah. I 100% agree with you, man. It's hopefully, at one point I was like, Facebook should probably take away comments and just let your post be your post. Right. So that's how the sports world was. When I was playing, I remember one time a guy on Twitter said something about me, and I blocked him off my Twitter page. It was after a game. And his friend was like, "Why would you block my friend? You're a professional athlete. He should be able to say whatever he wants to say to you." I'm like, no, like, it's my page. I choose to read what I want to read, and that's my right. If I want to hear somebody hating or saying negative things about me, then, that doesn't do me any good.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And so, and it's like I said, it's gotten worse. worse in the last few years. And hopefully we can. 2020's has been horrible. And we have the election coming up. Holy cow. I mean, is it going to get any better? I don't think so. Okay. No, it's not. But I don't know. Maybe we can, like I said, maybe we can get past it.
Yeah.
I don't know, Nick. Or I'm moving up there with you. So, because there's a bunch of freaking crazy people around here. So.
How has social media impacted you as a coach?
Well, as far as, I mean, honestly, I learn more stuff off of social media for basketball stuff and things like that. Okay. There's more access to it. It really has. I've done some Zoom meetings and stuff like that. Never would have had access to in the past few weeks or before since COVID. That was basketball stuff. Okay. I can, and I probably don't use it enough with my team, but I do occasionally. Just, motivational stuff, during the season and even a couple of weeks ago, when we started conditioning, things like that. So yeah. I know I don't use it enough for that. And it's really good for that kind of stuff. But I have a bunch of really good motivated kids anyway, and I'm really lucky to be in that situation.
Do parents use social media to talk about they don't like you or are their kids not playing or anything like that?
I haven't seen that. I have seen some comments, not for me or for my team, but yeah.
But other coaches?
This year for the boys team.
Okay.
Towards the boys coach. But I don't see that much, and it was addressed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was addressed. The boys coach, they took care of it. And so, but no, and be honest with you, since I've been here, you have parent conferences. When the kids are not playing or whatever. And that's one of my rules is if you have, I don't discuss playing time with parents. I just don't, I'll talk to the kids. That's between me and them.
Yeah.
And so that cuts off 95% of my parent problems right there. And I've had 2 parent conferences since I've been here in 5 years. So I'm doing pretty good right now. I'll take that any day. It's probably a lot better than what it was back when I was coaching you. Holy cow. Nick, man, I was insane. I'm not kidding you. I feel bad the way I coached some of you guys. Oh, my God. Especially before I came to Jacksboro. I cringe, dude. I cringe at some of the stuff I did. So I'm mellow now. I'm so mellow.
Oh, we're going to get into that. Well, let's talk about you growing up in Bowie. How was that?
It's a good small town. It really was. My dad coached me. Mm-hmm. I moved there when I was 4, and my dad was the coach there for, I think, 25 years, somewhere in there, maybe a little less, but he coached me. I mean, it was a good place, good small town. You've got it's typical back then. The gym was always open, or when I was growing up, we all had keys to the gym, and you just went to the gym when you're in high school. So there's nothing else to do. It's different today with the internet and all that kind of stuff. We had 3 TV channels, and in order to get one of them, you had to go outside and turn the antenna towards Dallas so you could get that one. So you had nothing to do. So you go to the gym and play. So it was a good basketball school for us, and just hanging out. It was a good
When did you get into basketball?
Being a kid of a coach's son, I don't know, probably day one. After basketball games, I always went home with my dad, and I just pick up a basketball and go out on the court, at home games and stuff like that. I just waited for him to go home. So, I mean, it was just part of it. And he didn't push me. He really didn't. If we ever played one-on-one outside home, he would, it was just all in fun, and he would make me go left. He would overplay me and make me go left since I'm right-handed, mess with me. And then when he coached me, he had a rule not to talk about it at home. If he coached me on the court, it's over. Go home. He not one time he ever said, you need to do this, you need to do that, or anything like that. So I knew I was safe there. I was still scared of him.
Yeah.
I was safe. Oh.
But that's such a profound thing. Like, as a coach, how many things that come up after the fact that you want to reiterate or, hey, you need to work on this a little bit more, but
Yeah.
to separate it completely. Were you able to do that with your kids as well when you coached them, or?
Yeah, and I with my oldest Layton, I did, and like I said, I just coached him up through his freshman year.
Yeah.
And he became a good little player too. But I laid down the same rule. I wanted him to feel like he was comfortable at home, and not to have to think that I was going to rip on him or get on him or even say you need to work on this or anything like that. And now
Yeah.
I have a youngest son. He's a sophomore. And I mean, if I say I don't coach him, so if I do say anything at home, it's pretty. I try to say mostly positive. You had a good game. Those types of things. I try to stay out of as much as possible and let his coach deal with him, and just be a parent. Just be a parent.
Yeah. Did you play other sports in high school?
Did I?
Yes.
No, I was just a basketball guy.
Just
I really was. With your dad, you're growing up with your dad's basketball coach, and I really did. I did junior high, I did football and stuff like that, but I went straight basketball and that was it.
Is that the reason you wanted to be a coach? Is because your dad, or?
I probably. I can't say yes. I went and got a business degree.
Yeah.
Had to go back to school, and I think I was kind of denying the whole time what I really wanted to do. I didn't know exactly what to do, but yeah, I can't just point and say, but yeah, I followed in his footsteps. My oldest son, he's a sophomore in college. He's going to be a coach. Tried to talk him out of it and take him out of advice. So no, he'll do good. It's just a family thing. My daughter's a teacher. So you just kind of following what your parents do a lot of times. If you see that they like it, they enjoy it, it's a good life.
When you got the business degree, what was the plan then?
I don't have a clue, Nick. I started work on my master's. I'm serious. I got my master's. I go 1 year starting work on my master's in business, and I'm thinking, I even had a double major, marketing and general business, and then I start working on master's. And the year after, I go 1 year for my master's, and I go to Europe for 3 months, and bicycle through Germany for 3 weeks, and then backpack for 2 months with a buddy. And that's where I made the decision that I wanted to come back and be a coach. So
Yeah.
I think business is one of those degrees where if you don't know really what you're going to do, something with some people, it's like, okay, I'm not going to be a scientist or anything. Let's go into business and figure it out. I don't know. So I didn't have a clue what I was going to do. I'm going to go into business. I was going to make some money. So and then I changed. I'm going to go into coaching. I'm not going to make a dime. But I wouldn't change a thing, man. I wouldn't. I say I wouldn't change the decision to go into coaching. So it's awesome.
Have you used anything from your business degree since? You did get a business degree in marketing and things like that. So have you used any of that?
My wife would probably tell you I'm tight. I prefer to call it thrifty. And so, yeah, as far as investments, 403Bs and Roths and all that kind of stuff, that's always, until the last few years, I was really pretty, I guess, tight. And so just investing in things like that so I can be set up when we retire one of these days. And it's always on my mind. And that's my son too. He's my oldest. He's just like, he's a sophomore in college. Like he's going to be a coach, but he just bought a house because he saved enough money in the past working as a kid and things to put down a down payment. He's the exact same way. So, so I do. I'm always thinking about that kind of stuff.
What college did you go to?
He's going to North Texas right now.
Awesome. I got a cousin that goes to North Texas, plays football there.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll be a sophomore this year.
Okay, and that's what –
or a redshirt freshman, yeah.
He's going to be a junior. Now, he went to Weatherford College first couple of years, and he lives out here, and he just commutes back and forth. But, that's where I went to. My daughter went there. So, I enjoyed it.
Meeting Miss Elizabeth.
Oh, yeah.
Where'd y'all meet?
How did I do it now?
Where did y'all meet?
Basketball game. So it was destiny.
You were in college or high school or?
High school. I was coaching at Lake Dallas. She was an assistant coach at Whitesboro for the girls, and I was coaching the boys at the time. And I saw her, and I had the boys coach from Wattsburg introduce us. And then we had a date a few days later. I was at a game I was scouting. Said, if you want to go out, I got to scout this game. And so she met me, and then 6 months later, we're married.
6 months.
So, yeah, been married. She's coming up 24 years.
Congratulations.
So,
that's awesome.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's awesome. I got lucky. Way lucky. Oh, deserve it.
She is an awesome woman, and I've, it's been that way since I met her almost over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
23 years ago. So y'all just got married.
Yes, we did. We were at Lake Dallas for 1 year and then went to Jacksboro.
Yeah.
After 1 year we married, 1 year there and went there. So yeah, she's super. So
what do you think is the most impactful thing or lesson you learned from your father?
Oh. I don't know if there's one thing I can put a finger on. My dad was not a guy that said, hey, do this. He's not a guy that said, would talk to you and say, here's quotes, like, if you want to be successful, you got to do this. Anything. He's a quiet guy. And just watching him. So I guess the examples that I see watching him was his hard work to be successful. He's in, TBC Hall of Fame and all that kind of stuff. I remember getting up at night and at 2 or 3 in the morning during basketball season, he's, in his chair with his yellow pad writing out notes. So his work, he worked and he was going to be good and he was driven and totally successful. So, he was singularly focused on doing that and being a heck of a coach and which he was. So I do remember that. Now I've made some posts about, I think you learn a lot of things indirectly from your parents, and this concerning racism stuff was that it was never mentioned in my household, when I was growing up. And so I learned a lot of stuff that indirectly I think you're taught. And indirectly I was taught how to work hard by seeing him. Indirectly I was taught that all people are cool, by watching him and never hearing anything negative said about anything, anybody, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so we learn a lot indirectly. Like I say, he wasn't that kind of guy that just sat you down and said, hey, I just saw him work hard and be a good person. You know? So, it's awesome.
That's pretty incredible, especially knowing, how everybody knows Bowie.
Right? Oh, it's
around
horrible. Back then, yeah.
Yeah. My dad's been actually working there the last 3 weeks, and he's like, everybody's really friendly and asking questions and talking. And
he's working there?
Well, he's an insurance adjuster, right? So he's been working, and he's been up in Wisconsin and Philadelphia and all over, and he decided to come home, and then there was that tornado that went through Bowie, so he's been working that for the last couple weeks.
Check that out. Bowie has a bad reputation, and that's where I think it, and probably deservedly so, as far as race relations go. But that's where it comes back to when I was growing up in that household with my parents. That stuff was never discussed. It was never mentioned. It was nothing, And so when you're growing up like that, it's so important that your parents are like that, because Bowie does, has a bad past, and our friends. The friends I hung out, we never discussed that. We weren't like that. And I'm sure there were. I'm sure there were other people. Yeah. But I just discussed with my wife the other day. Do you remember Jerry Kraft, the mayor of Expert? Have you ever read his book, Our White Boy?
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's awesome. And I don't know where I got it at, but I think I was in Dodge City. After I left, he wrote a book called Our White Boy. And when he was in the 60s playing semi-pro, he played semi-pro baseball for a team out of Wichita Falls. And he didn't know it, but when the book was all about him, he was the only white guy on an all-black team playing semi-pro, traveling to Bowie. Oh, God, if you can imagine that in the 60s.
Wow.
And traveling to West Texas and talking about all the towns they played and the experiences they had. and his experience of being the only white guy on a all-black semi-pro baseball team during the 60s. And I think it's like 62, 3, 4, somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Okay. It's an awesome book. But, yeah, the experience they had in the Bowie, yeah, I mean, experience. I remember it's been a long time that, you know, they weren't looking forward to going to Bowie in the 60s. I mean, you know,
I wasn't looking forward to going to Bowie in 2000.
I think it's changed a little bit. So
it's changed. It definitely has, I believe. And, you know,
yeah.
But that's where it's, you know, when we think about history, it's a hard transition, right? People get mad over statues, over different things, but where is the meeting point? Like you said earlier, where's the meeting point on, right? It's going to be it's a hard conversation already.
Yeah.
But where can you start the truth and where can you build from?
Well, I don't know, Nick. You know, I don't know. I mean, it just comes from, I'm glad, I think I can have an influence on kids and teaching in the school, because once you get past that 20-year-old or 25-year-old, I mean, it's just, to me, it's almost like it's set. I mean, their minds, they've grown up, they've been influenced by whether it's parents, families, friends. And, you know, when you have parents or your family telling you, you know, hey, this, and this about these certain group of people, I mean, that's a heck of an influence right there.
Yeah.
Right? It's just almost, to me, it's almost gone. I mean, it's almost too far gone. So I know I can have an influence here, you know, at school and teaching. And so that middle ground, I don't know. You talk about the statues, you know, that's a tough one. I mean, okay, it's history. Okay. But it's also, some of it's racist history and they're racist symbols. Go ahead, take them down. Let's take them down. But if it's history, museums are great for history.
Yeah.
Okay. If you want to go, all right, but they're out of the way. If you want to go visit them, all right. So maybe, to me, that's kind of a middle ground there. It's not
put
just
them all in museums.
Yeah, I mean, that's. Now, I don't know if that's right. I hope nobody gets mad at me or anything. But
no, but it makes sense. It makes sense. If you put them in a museum, it says this is what the history was.
Yes.
We're not going to glorify them out in public because this is not. It's really now saying this is our history.
Yeah.
And not a glory, because you know you put a statue of Kobe outside the Lakers arena, you're glorifying Kobe or Mike and things like that. So I've never thought of that, but I think that's a great idea.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, there were protests in Denton recently, which is, you know, 20 minutes from us, and there's Confederate, and I never noticed it. You know, go to Denton, you know, every now and then there's a Confederate soldier statue outside the courthouse, and I think, and I may be wrong, I think they're taking it down. I don't know, and I'm all good with it. I really am. I mean, I'm, like I said, but if you want to put it in a museum, that's fine.
Yeah.
Now, I saw a post this morning that said, if you're going to take those statues down, why don't you take this statue down? And it was a picture of Martin Luther King. And I'm going, you got to be freaking kidding me, dude. I mean, he's not a symbol of violence or any, I mean, what the heck, man? And, of course, it's from one of these Facebook friends I know that's racist, okay? But I'm going to have to block. So, I mean, holy cow. It's nuts, man. So,
yeah.
I don't know.
Let's talk about your first day walking in as a coach. What school was it? And do you remember that day?
Yeah. Bellevue, America. Okay. You know where Bellevue is, don't you?
Yep. Right
outside of Bowie. First day, assistant coach. God, that's been a long time ago. We're talking 33 years ago. I've had a lot of beer since then. I don't know if I have the memory. Tell you this, I know I was trying to look old. I remember because I looked back some pictures. I had a mustache, so I looked weird. Probably looks like a porn star now, you know. But I don't know if I really remember. I remember being called Coach Shelton for the first time. And that was by the head boys coach. You know, it calls me Coach Shelton. Walk in. It was just odd. You know, I do remember that. You know, and it was such small school, kind of like here, even smaller back then. I don't remember any anxiety or anything. Just probably more excitement and ready to, ready to get going. It's a new chapter, and here I am. I said, getting ready to start year 34.
How many years were you a head coach before you came to Jacksboro?
I was at Lake Dallas, I guess 3 years before I came to Jacksboro. And then what was I there? 3 or 4? I can't.
3 years.
3 years.
My sophomore, junior, and senior season. So my 10th, 11th, and 12th grade years.
Yeah, you were just darn lucky to, have me those 3 years.
I really was. You know what the crazy part is? So I remember, because I was supposed to be on varsity my sophomore year. I'd already talked to Coach Hicks, and everything was good, and like the summer was going well, and Coach Hicks leaves.
Yeah.
And I remember you pulling in, unloading your car, and I'm on my bike, and we're kind of just like circling in the parking lot as you're walking in, and we don't really say anything. And then I was just thinking, like, who is this guy, and am I still going to be on varsity? I remember football comes around for training for 2-a-days, and we're running the snake, where you have to run down 8-yard line, run down 5.
Oh, yeah.
All the way down the field. So it's 5 yards at a time, down each line, back and forth. And I was back with the lineman, and you made a statement. You said, if this is the way you work, you'll never be on varsity. And I was like, what the hell is this?
If you remember it, I probably did say it. So, must have been dogging it, man.
I was back with the lineman. I was jogging. I've never been known for going all out in conditioning. But, it was just one of those first times that it really opened my eyes because, growing up and you're talented and you can get away with it on the court or you can get away with it on the field, but you never really had to work for it. That always stands out to me. And there was another time we were standing there. I don't remember exactly before a game or if it was before practice. And we were standing like in the little hallway there right before you go into the foyer for the basketball court, right outside the locker room. And you made a statement. You said, or you asked me a question. You said, what happens when there's nobody in the stands? Because you've seen the difference of me at practice and seen the difference of me in the game. And it was like, it made me think, like, am I just an entertainer or do I just try hard when people are watching?
Yeah.
Right. And those two moments to me did so much for me moving forward because it allowed me to understand what it was to really work hard to work to get something.
Yeah.
Right. Because,
You're making me sound good. Okay. I don't even remember those moments. You're making me sound good. And I'm known for being just such a hard ass.
Yeah, you were.
And just brutal, and, probably too, I was over the top. I was an intense little bugger, but, I'm glad you're making me sound good. I feel better now. So,
but that's the interesting thing is like, we all grow and we all learn and like, you're probably way different now, compared to back then. But when you're first coming in and you're trying to set the tone, can you talk about being a basketball coach at a football school or just in a football state period where there's so much going on? And I remember you tried to start a basketball all season. They were like, no, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. Well, that's why I left Jacksboro. It was, I like, as far as towns go, Jacksboro was awesome. I liked the town. We started going to church there and everything. I liked it. And that's really the last town that I've been in. Dodge City and Slidell have been since then, and very small towns don't have a store, don't have, anything. There's nothing. There's no store. There's no restaurants, nothing. So we're in like really small areas here. And so as far as the town, Jacksboro it reminded me of Bowie. It's the same size and all that kind of stuff. But it was just so football oriented. It was frustrating. I remember, I think in the fall, spring, basketball's over and I've got some straight basketball guys. And they say, all right, we're all going out for conditioning. And we've got guys running, getting down in a 3-point stance or 4-point stance and running them through the chutes, and they don't play football, and they're having to run through the chutes out there, and they're straight basketball guys. Like, what is this going to help them? And so I had some good discussions with our AD and knocked heads. And that's why I finally, said, I've got to leave. And when I went to Dodge City, that was no football. No, at baseball. Here, I'm girls basketball, but we don't have volleyball or softball. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, it's the sport.
Yeah. So you get basketball all year round.
It's all year round. I mean, and Slidell is a heck of a basketball school for boys and girls. I mean, the first NBA player ever drafted is from Slidell. Did not play NBA because it was like startup league and they didn't pay enough. The guy went into coach instead, but he was. I mean, this is a basketball little town. It's a good setup for a basketball coach.
Yeah.
But yeah, football, boy, it's tough. I couldn't do it.
You know, going into high school, I said I didn't want to play football.
Really?
Coach Walker said, "No, you're not playing basketball if you don't play football."
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't want to play, and I didn't like being outside.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was the same reason why I always tried harder in basketball.
Yeah.
I always thought I was better in basketball.
You did all right. I mean, I'd let you play for me today.
I don't know about today. I don't know if I can make it up to court too many times.
Well, there was that rule. We had that rule at Jacksboro that if you quit football, you couldn't play the next sport. Okay.
Did we?
And if you quit a sport, you couldn't play the next sport. And so the only sport that didn't affect would be football. And so it was just a BS rule. I hated it. That was one of those things like, well, what the heck, man? So, but I don't know. But as far as basketball, you did a great job. You remember the Seymour game?
Yes. When you said no.
Oh, I thought, oh, crap.
So just to preface it, you told me I couldn't shoot threes anymore.
You weren't a very good 3-point shooter, dude.
I wasn't a good 3-point shooter. I wasn't a great shooter.
Low 20%. I remember this because I remember these moments. Okay, so like 20, low 20s, and that's not horrible, but no. Okay,
but I didn't take a lot of threes either.
No, you didn't.
I got most of my points off fast breaks and layups and
steals. I mean, yeah. Are you going to tell the story, or am I going to tell the story?
Go ahead. Feel free. I've never heard it from this perspective before.
Okay. Well, here it is. I mean, we go down 2, right? I think we're down. It's down 2.
1 or 2.
And so I call a timeout. I can't remember exactly. There's enough time for us to bring the ball down the court. Okay.
16 seconds.
Yeah. Okay. All right. And so they had been playing a zone the whole game. They switched to a man. So I called a zone play, which also can be run against man. So 1-4 set, and you've got the ball. So you're coming down at the top of the key with the ball, and everybody else is a 1-4 low set. And it's called thumbs down. Still run it today. And so I kept going. Okay, thumbs, just run it. Okay. And I really, here as you're at the top of the key, there's nobody. It's you one-on-one.
You set it up for C.W. Ferris.
C.W. was he in the corner on the blocks?
He was in the corner. Nate was supposed to screen the backside zone guy. We're going to overload the other side. I'm throwing a cross-court pass.
We're going to do diagonal pass. But they switched to man.
Yeah.
They were in a straight man. So in a 1-4 low set straight man, okay, well, you got you at the top of the key of the basketball. I'm thinking, okay, well, this is still good. You just take your guy off the dribble.
Yeah, you said take him. You were like, take him.
And yeah, I know. And okay, what'd you do? Yeah, kind of stepped up on the 3-point line, stepped back, and shot the 3. And I'm going, holy crap. And then you hit it. And I looked really smart. I was like, oh, my God. I still have that tape somewhere, too. No, it's in a box. I mean, I'm serious. I've got that. It's on a VHS. Really? Yeah, I've got it. I took about 3 or 4 different ones when I left Jacksboro, but they're on VHS. But I mean, like, oh, my God. So I remember a reporter asking me after the game, were you surprised that you did that? And I go, nothing surprises me that Nick does. I always said that you did it or that you made it. And I go, and that doesn't surprise me. But, I mean, the fact it didn't surprise me that you made it.
Yeah.
And then you intercepted the inbounds pass.
Yeah.
All the time out, they threw a long pass. And with your arms that go from, pretty much like, from wall to wall in this room, it's just like, okay. So I remember some stuff.
Yeah. I mean, the thing to me was I had the smallest defender on the court.
Yeah.
He was small and he was quick.
Yeah.
And he took that first step and he really turned his body. So I was like, I got the shot.
Yo, you had the shot. You just weren't a good shooter. You weren't horrible, and your form was pretty good. I mean, honestly, you have pretty good form and everything. But you weren't really, a great shooter or whatever, a good shooter, so.
We walk in the locker room and you say, all right, see you guys at practice at 6 o'clock in the morning. And everybody was like, man, you should have missed the shot. Because we had what, Crum?
Crum, I'd lost a flip. So we played Seymour on Tuesday, practice on Wednesday, and then played them on Thursday. And, that's where I would change things today as far as we wouldn't have had practice or we would have had a 30-minute walkthrough, with that quick of a turnaround. I was always a pusher, man. We're going to keep working. We're going to keep working. And I didn't know when to let up, and so I've changed some stuff on that. I would have had just a real easy and given y'all a mental / physical break more than anything. And we didn't have a hard practice anyway that day, but it was just tough turnaround.
Yeah.
So, 2 days, 2 playoff games.
Do you still show the Dick Hoyt and his son video?
No, but I know which one you're talking about. I used to have it, and I don't know what I did. That's a good one.
YouTube.
Okay.
YouTube's got it.
That's a really good one. I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's an inspiring story for both of them.
It's
outstanding. So I'll write that down. So
I remember when we watched that, it was one of those things where, there's little things along the way. And, the more you realize it is, there was a guy at Southern Arkansas named Cedric Thornton who got drafted in the third round, I believe, third or fourth round by the Philadelphia Eagles. Okay. And he went to Southern Arkansas. And I met him when my brother was going to school there after a spring game. And this was probably about 6 years ago now. 7 years ago. Yeah. And one of the things that I walked up to him after the spring game, I've never met him before. I shook his hand and said, I just want to say congratulations on what you're doing. And I think at the time he was playing for the Cowboys, and said, congratulations on what you're doing and everything. And he looks at me and he was just like, I just want to let you know that this is not possible without you. He says, every day I walk down to the gym and I've seen what you did here, and you made it a reality for me to make it out of here.
Oh, cool.
Right. So one of the things is like, I bring up these memories that I remember that you don't remember. And it's just one of those things where it's like, we never know what's going to affect the next person or have that life-defining, because when I got to college, I fell in love with competition. Like, I always loved to compete, but I never really had to go. I never felt like I really had to push myself hard to compete.
Yeah.
But when I got to college, it was like everything's changed. It was like, okay, I got to really go harder to compete. And that's what changed my life now. So I think back, like I pretty much wasted high school.
Well, you're athletic as heck, as far as compared to everybody else there. You were able to get by on some athleticism. I mean, I'm not saying that as a cut. I mean, you really were. I mean, and so you get to college and everybody's athletic.
Yeah.
You're going to have to work hard. You're going to have to set goals and all that kind of stuff. So, but I mean, those little things that people say, that kind of motivates you, or you come back and say, I mean, that's stuff that's happened to me before. You know, I remember a college professor saying something to me one time and said, you know, you're smart, a lot smarter than what you're showing. And because being a goober in class,
Yeah.
you know, as and then he said, you know, you could probably kind of be a leader within this class. And I said, okay. And so I took it to heart. I mean, it really, I mean, he was a heck of a professor. He was a great guy. And so, yeah, those little things, I never know, you know, if it's getting through or not to some of these kids or whatever. But I try to do a little bit more of what you're saying. I try to give hints, talk to something, whatever, you know, all the time, more so than I used to.
Yeah. So what still wakes you up every morning to still want to be better? Like you say, you're doing Zooms and things to still improve. What wakes you up to get there?
I think it's the kids that I've got now. And am I as motivated as I was? I don't know if I'm as motivated, to be honest with you. I mean, because I've got this 30-year experience and all that kind of stuff. I used to go to a lot more clinics and stuff, but the kids I've got and just a new group to me coaching, you go year by year, and it's like, okay, I got a whole new group. All right, what are we going to run? What are we going to do? And what can I do? You know, and so I've been fairly motivated in the last few weeks or whatever to look at some stuff. And I mean, I talked about my dad writing stuff down on yellow pads, all that kind of stuff. Okay, I got crud all over my desk right now. Okay, just notes. I come in the morning or whatever in the afternoon and just write stuff down and things. But you know, it's still fun. It's still a challenge. I've got good girls. I said Slidell's a great basketball school. It's pretty easy to get motivated.
Yeah.
We're going to have I'm not saying a tough year, but it's not going to be – we're just going to be so young. It's not going to be like it has been in the last few years, but I'm motivated to see if we can win district. It's going to be close. It's going to be closer than it's been since I've been here. And so I'm motivated to see if I can get them going, and I've got some good young freshmen and sophomores, and so I know that in 2 or 3 years we got another shot of getting, you know, just a little bit closer. Let's just, you know, want to see what happens.
You've always been pretty strategic, though. Mm-hmm. Like, for people that don't know, my junior year we went 23-7.
Yeah. And
I was the only junior starter. Everybody else was seniors. And then as only returning starter, we go 22-8.
Yeah.
Right. So it has to come with strategy to be able to change people. And I mean, even looking at that, like with Eric leaving, who was super talented. You know, Dustin and Joseph Martinez, who used to guard the best player on another team all the time.
Yeah.
Right. So losing so much talent and then to be able to pretty much repeat the success was pretty big. And one of the games that always stands out to me is Boyd.
Oh, yeah. I forgot that on tape, too. We lost 18-15. Was you talking about the one at Boyd?
Yes, 18-15.
Yeah, and you weren't happy because we're stalling. I know you weren't. Your dad walked out of that game. Did you know that?
Who did?
Your dad.
Oh, yeah, he was pretty upset.
He walked out during the game and walked in front of the bench and said, "This is not basketball." I mean, he walked right in front of him and said, "This is not basketball. It's walking by." And so, and I get it. I mean, I understand it. It was strategy. So,
how did you come up with it?
Well, I grew up with my dad, who was more of a slower coaching and stalling. And stalling was bigger in the 60s and 70s and 80s. I mean, that's just was the pace of the game. Now, you just don't hardly see it anymore, you know. But, I mean, it goes all the way back, you know, to North Carolina and Duke and stalling and stuff when they didn't have a shot clock.
Yeah.
In the colleges, there was a lot more of that. And so, anyway, so that was still in the back of my mind. And we go against Boyd. They got a heck of a point guard, and then they got 4 other guys out there that are like 6'3", you know.
Oh, they were 6'9".
Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
then you were our tallest player besides Nate. Am I right? Like 6'1" or whatever.
Yeah. Well, no, it was
You and
Nate
Chad.
at 6'3",
Yeah.
CW at like 6'1". I was like 5'10", and Chad and Jeremy.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, all right, we're coming up against these big guys. How are we going to keep them from scoring? Okay, how are we going to keep them from rebounding, which is such a big deal to me anyway?
Yeah.
I mean, how are we going to stop them in the first place? So let's just keep the game close.
Yeah.
If we can keep the game close, I felt like they were the overall talented better, and athletically and everything like that. So we can just keep the game close, man. Let's then we've got a shot at the end. And
Yeah.
I know.
I think they were like 6'9", 6'9", 6'6", 6'3",
Yeah, you're right.
5'11". Ryan Starnes was their
And the
smallest point guard.
5'11" kid, what was his name?
Starnes.
Yeah, he was the best player.
Yeah.
He was point guard. And so I was just trying to come up with something to even it out. If you can't hit them head on, go around them.
Yeah.
And I may have to do that this year with somebody. And I'm a fast breaking guy now, and we're dribble drive. But I've already looked at a couple of stall games just to, if for a couple of games that we got coming up, the district and stuff. I may have to slow it down and try to. If you can control the tempo, you can control a lot of stuff.
Should Texas high school have shot clocks?
Should it? I'm against it, but I'm old school because in college and NBA, in college you're recruiting kids and for your style and all that kind of stuff. Okay, and NBA and all that kind of stuff. It's great, it's fast, but let's say you get a bunch of slow kids, but they're big. Okay, I don't know. You just get what talents you have, and you try to teach kids how to be successful.
Yeah.
Okay? No matter what you've got. It's not teaching to me. It's not teaching about winning. We're trying to teach these kids how to be successful and overcome obstacles, even when those obstacles are pretty big.
Yeah.
So I would still like not – I mean, if somebody wants to stall and are good at it, I mean, you're teaching some kids patience, teamwork. I mean, the skills that they're going to be using for the rest of their lives. So that's just me. That is me. Because I may, like I said, I may be doing some stalling this year. So I like that option. I like that option of that strategy. And again, man, we put the ball up nowadays. I mean, we're gonna shoot it.
Do you shoot more threes now than you used to? Do you practice it? Is it because the NBA game has changed, like with Steph and those guys coming in, and now with analytics. How much have you gone to analytics to prepare your team or to your coaching style?
As far as analytics, no. I mean, I'm a big just straight stat person still and everything like that. But as far as when you're teaching 4 classes, and I do junior high practice in the morning at 6:30, to 8:45 or whatever. I'm here at 6:30, and then high school, and I coach junior high too. I coach them all.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I do. I've got an assistant, but she's young, and I do. And for 2 years here, I didn't have an assistant, so I have to pick my battles as far as analytics, stats, and all that kind of stuff. So, what was the question?
Analytics. Like, as you go, does it affect your coaching style, the analytics of the game?
Well, we're talking about threes and frees.
Yes.
Threes, okay. All right. So the stats, as far as individual stats on who can shoot and all that kind of stuff, I mean, I'm always looking at that. I'm a big rebounding guy as far as offensive rebounding and defensive rebounding. I think that's 40% of the game. I mean, I'm always posting. I mean, there's correlation between turnovers and rebounding, and how our W's and stuff like that. If we win a game, I'll look at what percentage did we rebound offensively. And it's amazing, especially when you see those W's, and then you say, okay, we rebounded and had 7 offensive rebounds for this game, and we lost. I mean, it's just the comparison is crazy. But I'm a big 3 guy. It's either threes, layups, or free throws. Don't like the mid-range game. Okay, you're shooting a 15-footer. I should rather shoot an 18-footer. I'm sorry, 19-footer, a 3-point shot. I mean, or going to the hole, you know. Let's get in the lane, and that is part of the dribble drive mentality. Let's get in the lane. You either get a layup or let's get a foul. Let's get to the line. You know.
When did that change for you? Because the 15-foot
really,
shot used to be the key shot. That's what you wanted to get.
Yeah. In the last, and it's evolved over the last few years as far as I like the three. And when I was at Dodge City coaching boys in the last 15 years, we were known for having some good 3-point shooters and stuff. I've gone to more with the dribble drive, more so with the dribble drive, because you're opening up gaps to go to the hole. And then if you get help, you kick it.
Yeah.
And if you kick it, you shoot it. Okay. And also missed 3-point shots are easier to get the rebound off of.
Longer rebounds.
Yes, I mean they are, and so you know it's just. And I still like the post-up game a little bit. I mean I do. We still work on every one of my kids from 6th grade on up. Work on post moves, even if they're not going to be a post, because to me it's just a layup. You're working on your right, your left hand. We still work on that stuff.
That's so good.
Yeah,
that's so good.
Man,
that's all. It's crazy how the game has changed though.
Mm-hmm.
Right? How much different it's played now the way it was then. And
the 3-point line changed it massively. You know, you can't help off and stuff like that. I mean, if you don't have a 3-point line, that three's not worth it. It's just a long two.
Yeah.
So,
same amount of points for a layup.
Yeah, I mean, I know. So, but I mean, just pack it in the lane if there's no 3-point line and make them shoot a 20-foot, 19, 20-foot 3-pointer. So, yeah, it changed it a lot.
That's awesome, man. I appreciate you for sharing all your knowledge. I appreciate you for taking the time to come on and just share some stories and your history and just everything. It's good to catch up because I mean, I know that you made a profound effect on me in those short years for as far as discipline goes, for sure, because you were a huge disciplinarian. I missed you set practice at 8:00 in the morning on New Year's Day my senior year.
Yeah, I still do that.
Do you?
Yeah, I had to as a player. So why shouldn't y'all have to do it?
Because we evolve and we know, like, we don't want to put people in bad situations. And I missed that practice. And, I had to run, 20 suicides before the next game, which was 3 days later. Yes.
I mean, I'm afraid there's a lot of stories out there that I don't remember. And they're probably not true at all. I mean, not. I just know they aren't. It's fake news. Sorry, it's fake news. Okay. I'm just throwing it out there.
So what is the conditioning they do right now? What did they do this morning?
Here's my deal now. And I've done this even when I was coaching boys at Dodge City when we started doing conditioning. I don't do a lot of running right now.
Okay.
Because I know we're going to take a couple of weeks off here in another week or two. And so it's just going to be gone. Okay. So we have an hour where we can do basketball. And within that, I am doing some full court drills. But because of COVID, we can't do any 1-on-1, 2-on-2. We can't do any offense on defense. Okay. We do a lot of 5-on-0. We do a lot of shooting. And it's within our offensive drill shooting. Okay. And so we do get some up and down stuff. So for an hour. And then I take them to the weight room. And today was more of just a straight upper day. And we were in there for about 30 minutes. Yesterday, we did a lot of lower core stuff, deadlifts, squats. I hated it. And then we went out to the gym again and did some more stuff with bands and some plyometric stuff and some ab workouts and stuff like that. Okay. And so, and then we did a few sprints, just a little bit, not much. But when we come back after our little break right before school, then the conditioning part, the running part, some of them run cross country. I'm going to get them in shape cross country. If I don't coach cross country, but I'll get them in shape. I'll still do that hour of basketball, but it'll probably be a lot more running with the basketball, full court drills and stuff like that.
Start a bike club.
Yeah, I've thought about it. There's nobody around here rides. I'm solo, man. I'm out here in the boonies. Man, there's nobody out here rides. I think there's that leg shaving spandex wearing a coach out here. He's just weird. Jim Bob and his pickup's gonna run over me one of these days.
You had a wreck one time. You got hit by a car when I was in high school.
Yeah, I did. Well, I was in Vegas. Okay, hello. Okay, I really was. My wife and I was going to do a 200-mile ride in California. Had signed up for it. So we were driving out, stopped in Vegas. I took a little 20-mile ride, just cruising, and coming back towards the hotel, I got hammered. So, yeah, I spent a few days in the hospital. Didn't affect me at all. I'm still good. Well,
That's why I like riding into the traffic instead of away from it. Like I don't like cars coming up behind me that I can't see. Because there's too many kids and stuff that on their phones when they're driving.
Oh.
And I would rather be able to see you swerve so I can at least minimize the damage.
Yeah. I've just been doing it so long, I don't even think about it. I don't have a mirror where I can look back or anything. I know the roads I don't like to ride, that I don't ride around here, but I am in the country.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of county roads that are paved. Now, if I go on a long ride towards Ponder and I'll get up into Argyle and even edge of Flower Mound.
Wow.
But I'm still on some back roads back in there, and I'm just used to it. You know, I don't even really think about it too much, and I don't have a lot of problems with it. Now, if you go at 3:45 in the morning, there's not a lot of traffic.
That's true.
It's not hardly anything going on. So you can ride a lot, and you don't see anybody.
Anything you'd like to leave the people with, just kind of a life philosophy, or just how you've been able to change over time and just continue to move forward and pursue greatness?
Oh, my philosophy, and especially when it comes to coaching, and I guess probably life has changed, and especially in the last 2 or 3 years, as I see the political climate and the climate in the country, is that, you know, I was so intense. So this is the way it's going to be done, and you better do it, and you better do it right now. So I have mellowed drastically, but, you know, I'm still going to push, and I still want you to do it right and everything, but I have a little more patience, you know, even though you were late on the Zoom this morning, you know, but I have a little more patience, but I just think people need to be a little more patient. And I even told my girls yesterday, I said, I yak at them all the time, just constantly. I don't know what I said. I said, all right, we need hugs, not hate right now. I said, we got too much of that stuff out there right now. Okay, you know, and they just laugh at me. I have a good relationship with them, but you know, I don't know. People need to mellow a little bit, you know, work hard, and just chill out. I don't know if that's a good philosophy or not or what, but
no, it's great. But you talk about the discipline, and just one story came to my mind. One time Myron was guarding Eric. You remember Myron, my cousin Myron?
Yeah.
He's guarding He's guarding Eric at practice.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like 5 feet off Eric. Eric's at the top of the key. And you're like, Myron, get up on him. Get up on him. You kept yelling, and he's like, he's too quick. And then you stopped practice, and you told Myron, you said, you go run bleachers until you think you can guard it. Myron ran bleachers for the rest of the day because he's like, I'll never think I can guard Eric.
I don't remember that either. God dang. So that's not true. I'm pretty sure. Not at all.
Hey, but growth is good.
Did I ever kick a basketball? Do you remember doing that?
Yeah, kick a basketball. I believe you kicked one in a game one time.
I will. Surely not.
You pulled me and Chad. You pulled me and Chad against Burke Burnett less than a minute into the game. I turned the ball over we got the tip. I turned the ball over first possession, come back down the floor. Chad turns the ball over. Timeout. He took me and Chad out, benched us for like the next 2 or 3 minutes. And then we ended up coming back and winning. But I mean,
don't turn the ball over. I mean, it's pretty simple. Okay.
I mean, it was so different because, like I said, like the structure that you implemented was never there before. Right. Yeah. So Coach Hicks was a good coach, but he was more free flowing, let everybody kind of do what they wanted to do. So there was never really a structure to that. And when you came in and implemented structure and discipline and conditioning, it was kind of like this guy just came off planet Mars and landed in Jacksboro.
I'm sure it was a shock. I know. So I get that a lot. So first year here, I mean, the first week or so, I had a girl tell me, you're kind of intimidating. And we hadn't even started practice yet. So I don't try to be that way. It's just I don't know, just the way it is. I'm just,
Oh, and I messaged you one time. So before we go, the number 9. You used to say number 9.
Oh yeah.
All the time.
I know.
Do you still do it?
No, I don't. But when you messaged me that, it reminded me of that. Okay, I would do it in class, right?
Yes, in class, all the time.
History's boring. I say history boring. You'll have 2 or 3 in class that just like it, or whatever. And I teach geography now too. And oh my God, that's just a tough one. And so I just in class, if I can keep y'all awake, okay, just whatever. I mean, that's my style. I still lecture. I get worksheets. I try to make it interesting. I try to relate it to what's going on. I talk about all kinds of stuff. And it's social studies. So I've got the freedom to talk wherever I want to. It's social studies. There's a lot of social studies society out there right now. I already started making up a test for the kids for the first of the year on everything from COVID to Fauci to Democratic nominees to riots and everything. I want to see what they
learned.
Yeah, what they've learned or what they know of, that's happened in the last few months. And I'm giving it to every one of them when they come back in, and then, boom, I can start discussing all kinds of stuff. It's a social studies dream right there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, I just want to say thank you personally, because I know the impact you made on me and my career, that gave me so many tools, added so many tools in my tool belt to be successful and to be where I am today. And so I want to say thank you on that. And I'm pretty sure a lot of kids will say thank you as well. Maybe not when they go through it, but I tell my daughter, my job is not to be your best friend. My job is to make sure that you can be successful in the world.
Yeah. That's what it's about.
And when she turns 18, I'm no longer, that I can only help her when she falls. But if I prepare her well for these first 18, then she will be able to be, I think, more successful in the rest of her life than me trying to baby her way through or be her friend through it all.
Well, I'm right there with you. I've never been much for babying. So if I'm going to err one way or the other, it was to make it hard on you so you could learn some life skills and to be successful, not to be a winner, but to learn how to be successful. So that's kind of me. Sometimes that message didn't get across what I was trying to do, but that's been a philosophy of mine to teach kids how to be responsible and all that kind of stuff, work hard, you name it. So, but I appreciate it, Nick, man. I appreciate you saying that. It's a pleasure coaching you. It's fun. You were good. So, I mean, you made me look good. Good players, man. They make me look real good. It's been awesome. It's been awesome. So yeah, you're, like I said, you're one I'll remember. So, and you brought up some names of guys I hadn't thought of in a long time. But I appreciate it, man. It was an honor. You ever need anything? Holler.
I will. Hey, one last thing. Do you remember the Aaron Lewis episode against Peaster at home when he went 9 for 9, and you told him he couldn't shoot threes?
Yeah. Oh, Aaron couldn't shoot. Oh my God. I've got Aaron on Facebook, man.
He goes like 9 for 9. We watched that one night, me and Eric and all of us and Dustin Dunlap and everybody. And it was like he would pass the ball, then he would just do like this. He'd take off, run, and come back. He just wanted it. He felt it. And, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Great memories.
He's a good guy. Oh, yeah. Those kind of stories are awesome. The other stories are all fake.
Well, that's awesome. I appreciate it. Like I said, thanks for coming on, and thanks for being part. I know you were probably surprised when I asked you to come on, and
yeah, I was.
But I hope.
No, I do appreciate it. I'm gonna come visit. My wife and I are close to retiring. We're gonna get that RV, and I'll come holler at you one of these days.
Sounds good. We can go skiing or snowboarding or biking.
Yeah, man.
I'll bike with you the first 10 miles, and then.
Okay. All right. At least 10. I got you down for 10. If you're ever down here, holler at me.
I will. I definitely will reach out to you when I come back down that way.
Do it. Do it. We'll meet up, man.
All right. Well, I had a great one. Thank you.
I appreciate it, Nick.